Or I forget. Okay. So yeah, we'll give it a few more moments for people who are just getting connected, and then we'll get started. It's nice to be back after an unexpected 2 weeks off from being sick. So for today's practice, you can be ideally seated. If you have to be lying down, though, that's all right. So if there's anything that's going on physically or based on the space that you're in, if you don't have a way that you can sit comfortably, you can do this lying down. Today, we're going to work with some chanting, which it's been a little while since I've offered any chanting in Breathe With Me. So that might mean that depending on your living situation or how comfortable you are with the sound of your own voice, maybe that means that you need to make an adjustment, like go somewhere and close a door, or if you're feeling a bit shy about people hearing you, just know that there is going to be the option to chant. With chanting, I always recommend that you participate, even if it feels highly uncomfortable for you. Um, and you still benefit if you are simply receiving the chant. So that'll be up to you when we get to that portion of the practice. All right. Good morning. Good morning. So let's go ahead and we'll start to dive in because I do want to speak a little bit this morning before we get into any parts of the practice. We're going to do a bit of philosophy and some contemplation this morning, and that will lead us into our chant. So coming into a comfortable seat, again, if you're able to be seated, the invitation is to be seated. If you need to be lying down, then you can lie down. So taking the time, taking the space to get yourself set up so that you can be focused for 30 minutes. And that becomes such a challenge for us now in modern life. And for some of us, it's always been a challenge if we've had issues with being focused throughout our lives for a variety of reasons. I think almost everybody now struggles to stay focused for 30 minutes without the impulse to check the phone or to find some task to pull us away. So that in and of itself, massive practice, setting yourself up for 30 minutes of focus on one thing, right? Multitasking, something that often gets a lot of praise for being able to multitask, and it's also turning into a bit of a detriment because we do struggle to focus on one thing. So doing what you need to do, setting yourself up, getting the space set, taking the sip of water, adjusting the clothes, maybe putting the phone on silent or out of sight if you're on a computer or some tablet, something else. And I'll invite you to close your eyes now so that you can receive the information, so that you can sit with the topic that we'll introduce to contemplate. If the eyes are not quite ready to close, then maybe just picking some point to focus on to let the gaze become soft. Go ahead and wiggle the shoulders, maybe roll out the neck, maybe open the jaw like you're yawning a few times. Any sighs, just releasing any tension from the body, any tension that built up in our effort to get here. So letting the physical body start to soften. Maybe slowing the breath down, starting to intentionally inhale and exhale. So today's theme, today's topic is something that I've shared in Breathe With Me. Some of you who've been to live practices with me as well, this is one that comes up. And it's one of my favorite reminders, one of my favorite teachings from within the yogic philosophy. And it is the concept of so hum. So hum. And it's the mantra that we'll work with. It's what we will chant. So hum. And it translates from Sanskrit to I am that. I am that. So and in this understanding of I am that, the that is the universe or creation and the creator. So I am the universe experiencing itself. I am the creator creating creation. And I wanted to speak about this because so often, as humans living our human lives, we get very fixated on who we believe we are. We spend a lot of our lives trying to answer that question, who am I? And when we sit with that, when we really sit with that idea of who am I, many aspects that we identify with start to fall away. Throughout our lives, we change constantly. We change our look, our style, our hair, our facial hair. We change our wardrobe, the jewelry that we wear, the glasses that we wear. Our physical bodies change remarkably so. The longer we live, the more we perceive the changes. We change in size, in shape. We go from being small to tall and large. If we live long enough, we probably get small again. So the very bones within our bodies change, the muscles change. On a cellular level, things change. Our taste buds change, our habits change, our patterns, our friends. All of these things change throughout our lives. And this can cause a lot of panic in us because we want to believe that there is a fixed point of completion, that when we get the job, the husband, the wife, when there's a certain amount of money in the bank account, when we reach a target weight, that we will somehow feel like we have arrived. But the horizon keeps moving and the goals keep moving, and the sensation of completion is elusive because the experience is ever evolving. So, I am the universe experiencing itself. So there isn't an end goal. There is just experience followed by experience followed by experience. And something else hard for us to swallow sometimes is that one experience is not better than the other. So the day we get married is actually no more important than the day that we get fired from our job, or is just as important, I should say. So we'll work with so hum. So hum, I am that. And before we move into the practices, into the breathing, into the chanting, into the movement of the body and the manipulation of the body and the systems, just sit with this question, with this topic, this theme, and notice how it feels in your body. Notice how it resonates with you. When you ask the question, who am I? What comes up for you? How does it land in your system when you ask that? Do you feel like you know yourself, or are you still searching for who you are? And if you feel like you know yourself, what does that mean to be you? What aspects of yourself are you attached to in this moment? When these aspects of self fall away, and sometimes they fall gracefully and other times they fall violently, this can create sometimes what is referred to as an ego death or an identity crisis. Maybe you've experienced one, maybe you've experienced several. So just sitting with that for a few moments, just seeing if you can connect in to your core essence. So I am the universe experiencing itself. You can start to breathe more deeply here with some more intention. Inhaling through the nose, drawing the air into the system. And then exhale out the mouth. Inhaling through the nose, filling all the way up, taking a nice deep breath, and then exhaling out the mouth. Keep going like that. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling out the mouth. As you draw the breath in, think so. As you exhale out the mouth, think hum. Inhale through the nose, so. Exhale out the mouth, hum. few more rounds just like that. Next time you exhale, you can release that rhythm, release that intensity, come into subtle breath. So now in and out through the nose, nice and subtle, nice and soft. And we'll work with something that is outside of the Adinachi pranayam that I usually teach with. This is something called coarse lips. And it's a nice one to discharge stress from the body or any sort of excess buildup of chaotic energy. And it looks just like it sounds. So it's an inhale through the nose. And then as we exhale out the mouth, we soften the lips. So it'll look like this. So we're going to do a few rounds of that. And if you find that it's hard to get the fluttering of the lips, just do your best. It requires a certain amount of surrender, requires a certain amount of looking silly. So a bit of play and a softness in the mouth and the jaw, which is where tension can often be stored, even if we don't realize. So a few rounds of horse lips. We can start together, but you'll go at your own rhythm here. So go ahead and exhale all the way out, and then inhale through the nose. See if you can stay loose in the jaw. Just do your best. Go for one or two more rounds here. Release that practice. Just take a moment, observe how that was for you. If you could let yourself go with it, if you could soften the lips, if you could get the flutter. For some people, it comes quite easily, quite naturally. For others, it does not. It took me a while to be able to do that. Notice any sensations or vibrations in the jaw, in the lips, maybe in the throat. We're working a lot today with the throat and our ability to express ourselves and to show up, right? Because that's another part of this. Who am I? Many of us feel like we have an internal self. We might only show that to a few people if we show it at all. Many of us feel that we have an external self or a mask and a face that we put on, different hats that we wear. So working with the throat, we'll start to work with the chant. And just a reminder that if chanting feels highly uncomfortable, there could be some blockage in self-expression. So the throat, Vishuddha chakra, is a bridge between our inner world and our outer world. So we'll work with so hum. We'll work with chanting. We'll go for quite a while here, a few minutes at the very least. And again, I highly encourage you to join me. even if it feels uncomfortable, especially if it feels uncomfortable. And just notice as you chant how your body starts to feel. So before we even start, take a moment, scan the physical body, make sure you're comfortable. Maybe get a sip of water. Scan the emotional body. Notice if you're feeling anxious or nervous, if you feel like, oh, I don't know if I really want to do this, just notice what's coming up. Maybe you love chanting. Maybe you have a very free voice and throat. And notice what the mind is already telling you about what this experience is. So, I am the universe experiencing itself. I am the creator creating creation. Take a nice deep exhale. Inhale, fill up. So 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 take a few moments, just sit with the vibration. Scan the physical body for any sensations from the chanting. Scan the emotional body, any feedback. Check in with the mind. Notice if it's quieter. Singing and chanting and humming is one of the most effective ways to tone the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve is a very important part of our parasympathetic nervous system, allowing us to come into a parasympathetic state of rest and digest. And every culture in the world used to sing and hum. And oftentimes in large groups and community, because when we hum and sing and chant together, we co-regulate. And the idea that you need a good voice to sing has silenced many of us. So here is your reminder to sing and to chant and to hum, and to bridge the gap between your inner world and your outer world. And to remember that you are the universe experiencing itself. And we're going to close out the practice with Brahmari breath. So still working with the throat, still working with vibrations and vocal toning. So Brahmari breath is an inhale through the nose and then a humming in the throat as we exhale through the nose. And you're welcome to keep working with so hum, thinking so as you inhale, and as we exhale, we are humming. You can make the hum sound as you hum. So let's start with an exhale here. Let's empty the lungs. Inhale, fill up to begin. Mm. Keep going. Mm. 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 Wherever you are in your breathing cycle, don't rush. When you finish your next exhale, you can release the practice and come into subtle breath. Sitting with the vibration of the Brahmari breath. Feeling any effect that the practice had or has on the systems of the physical body, the emotional body, the energetic body, the mental body, and the bliss body. Taking the time to notice, how do you feel? When you're ready, you can gently flutter the eyes open. If you'd like to stay in some silence and stillness for some time longer, it's always welcomed and encouraged. You can simply log off. If you're ready to come out of the practice, gently opening the eyes, taking the time to look around your physical space, scanning, noticing what's here, what catches your eye. With that, we'll close the practice for today. Thank you so much for joining me. So nice to be back. So nice to be healthy again. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. And I'll see some of you very soon. If I don't see you soon, hope to see you next week. All right. Take care and thank you.